Hello lovely bookworms, and welcome back to our cozy corner of the internet. Today we are diving headfirst into the world of romance. I recently stumbled across the Goodreads top 100 romance books of the past 3 years, and I realized two things very quickly. Number one, there's a lot of the same authors on here, and I've read quite a few of them. And number two, I've read quite a few books on this list. We've got authors such as Emily Henry, Ali Hazelwood, Colleen Hoover, Lucy Score, Laura Asher, Elena Armas, and more. They all have repeating books. So I got to thinking, what makes these books so great? Why are we all reading them? And is the bar for romance books too low? First and foremost, I just want to start by saying I live with a toddler, so if you hear noise in the background, it can't be helped. If you also live with a toddler, you understand the struggle. I've locked myself in a room for 30 minutes, and this is as good as it's going to get. This list that I am reading from, that I will link down below, is titled The Reader's Top 100 Romances of the Past 3 Years. So that means two things. Either A, all of these romances have been recently written, and B, we the readers have chosen them. Goodreads actually says on the list that these books have been, quote, rapidly shelved and recommended, and all have an overall rating of 3.5 stars or higher. Overall list is split into contemporary romance and historical romance. For the purposes of this video, I'm just going to talk about the contemporary romance. Those are the ones I've read a lot of. I think I've read a few of the historical romances on that list, but certainly not enough to make a video about it. So that piece, the contemporary romance piece of the list, has 76 total books written by 53 different authors. I've read 10 of the 53 authors on the list, which is 12 of the 76 books. So a little less than a quarter of each of the authors in each of the books. Of the 10 authors that I read, they make up 21 books on the list, so all of those authors have multiple books on this Goodreads Top 100. It's also pretty clear when you look through this list that a lot of these books are series. So it could be that maybe the series came out in the last 3 years. It could be that series is gaining popularity. When you read one, you read more. Also some series where you can tell the book is the first or second in a series and none of the other books are on that list. So maybe some people lost interest as time went on. Series are a wild card, so who knows? I just want to start off by saying I am not an author. I'm sure it is incredibly challenging to be an author. I've never even attempted to write a book. So anything I'm saying is not a diss on authors at all. This is for us as readers to think about, because as readers, we are consuming these books. And so if we're the ones rating them in 3.5 stars or higher, we're the ones that are recommending them to all of our friends. Authors have to make a living. They are going to write books that they know we as readers are going to read. Out of some of the books that I've read on this list, I 100% agree with books like The Bodyguard, 7 Days in June, Things We Never Got Over being the top. And I've heard really great things about Abby Jimenez and Ashley Poston as well, and their books, and I don't necessarily think their books fit into this theme that I'm about to discuss with some of the other books on this list. So there is, however, this theme with a lot of the other books on this list. So some of the books on this list, the ones that I've read, have this trope, and you can tell just kind of reading the summaries of some of the other books on the list that they follow that too. This makes up a lot of the books that are on this list. So, and it's a lot of the books that I'm seeing other book people recommend. And it's actually really interesting because when I had this thought last month, as what are we doing reading these books, I kind of saw some other people pop up with similar videos. So I think we're all collectively like, wait a second, this has gone too far. Anyway, the theme is the guy is incredibly tall, incredibly hot, and he also hates the main girl. For some undisclosed petty reason, usually nobody really knows why he hated her, and it all falls around this misunderstanding. And the main character is not supposed to like him because he hates her, but for some reason their paths keep crossing and they can't stay away, and they have this unbelievable physical attraction to each other. 500 pages goes by and they love each other at the end. My question about this is, are our standards too low? Should this be a book? Because what I'm finding is the character development in some of these books is just non-existent. We just have these characters who find each other unbelievably attractive and hate each other for a misunderstanding that happened 5, 10, 15 years ago. And then they can't keep their hands off each other. And because they can't keep their hands off each other, then they love each other at the end of the book. If all we're reading about is the same plot over and over and over again, why am I rooting for these characters? Why do I want them to end up together? There's no like slow burn, there's no development of people. And frankly, I've stopped caring over this identical set of main characters that is being carbon copied from book to book to book for over 300 pages. And again, like, I totally get it. There is something to be said about an easy read. You know the expectation. It's like watching a Hallmark movie, right? You know what's going to happen at the end of the movie. But I don't know that we would say that those movies are some of our top favorite and highly recommended. So why are these types of easy beach read books, the ones that you know how they're going to end, they're carbon copies of each other, why are these some of the top ones? Is the standard that should be set for romance books, or should we maybe just go a bit higher, knowing that this genre does exist and there's a time and a place for it, but is this really the top? Is this the best we can do? When I look at this list and I'm seeing top romances, I'm thinking, okay, this is the best of the best. This is the best of the 3 years that has been put out. These are books that people have loved and recommended. This is the top tier. And if I was an author and I wanted to know what are readers reading, what do readers consider the best of the best, this is the list I'm going to. In my opinion, I'm not even really sure how such a beautifully written book like 7 Days in June ended up on the same list as Not So Meet Cute. I feel like 7 Days in June sets a standard, and that's more of what I'm looking for when I think of the top romance books of the past 3 years. And so then I think of another question. Are we as a reading community just reading books to read books? Are we reading these easy romance books because it takes me 2 days to read a book like Not So Meet Cute, where it might take me a week to read a book like 7 Days in June because I'm reading it a little bit slower because I'm really melting into it and enjoying the characters? And is the sheer volume of books that we're reading now just causing authors to just churn out similar types of books? And if that's the case, why are we even reading? Myself personally, as a reader, when I'm looking for a book and I'm reading a book, I want this to be the next great book, the next book that when someone asks me, hey, what should I read next? I'm basically throwing this book at them because they absolutely positively need to read it. I'm not reading a book so that I can have 100 books read in the entire year. Do I have a reading goal? Yes. Would I rather read less than my reading goal if that means I read higher quality books? Also, yes. It's an interesting question and one that I definitely don't have the answer to. Again, I'm not an author, so I'm sure there's a reason that these types of books are being written and these are the ones that are getting pushed out more and more and more. Also know that we as readers set the tone for what is being published. Publishers are not going to publish what we are not going to read, and they're also going to prioritize what we read and recommend the most. I'm thinking that maybe we need to step our game up just a little bit. I definitely encourage you to check out the list. I'll certainly link it down below, like I said in the beginning, just so you can see what books are on there. There are some great ones that I've read that are on the list. And again, this is just my personal opinion. I'm sure there are books that I do not like on that list that other people love. If you have actually read any of the romance books on this list, let me know in the comments below. Do you agree? Do you think that these are some of the top romances in the past 3 years? Or do you think that we need to raise the bar just a little bit higher? If you enjoyed this video, please hit that like and subscribe button down below. You can stay up to date on all of my bookish content. I post every single week. And I've also got a monthly newsletter now, which you can sign up for. I'll leave the link for the freebie down below. So thank you for signing up and liking and subscribing. I literally cannot wait to hear your all's thoughts on this. So definitely check it out and let me know what you think. I hope you enjoyed this and I hope you found at least some of your next great reads, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.